Hey guys, welcome back to Built by Habit, or if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Now, we all want to be our best. We all have things that we want to change, improve, or even move on from. So, what do we do when we want to make a change in our lives? And what stops us from achieving this seemingly simple but often highly challenging task? Now, let me ask you these simple questions. Do you really want to make a change? Or are you just saying that you will? What does change actually look like? And how does one actually make these changes? Now, these are just some simple questions that you should be asking yourself when you're ready to make a true difference in your life. So, where do you begin? Well, when you're ready to make a change, it's never as easy as I will do this, and then voila, you're done. So maybe you want to be healthier. Perhaps you want to get your finances together, or get out of debt, or you might want to break a bad habit that you've already developed. Now, you're probably wondering, how can these things be answered using the same method? And actually, that is very simple. First, you need to identify the reason why you want to change. Now, be it you want to learn something good or stop something bad, you must be aware of why you want to make this change. For instance, I wanted to lose weight. But why? Well, I want to be healthier for my kids. But that's not all. I also want to be able to look myself in the mirror and be proud of who looks back. I want to set a better example for my kids than what I was doing when I started my journey. I also want to spend as many years as I can with my wife and to really make those years count for something. So, my why isn't just a one off, but it is okay if yours is. As long as your why is clearly defined and it's something that truly does actually matter to you. Once I was realizing what my why for being healthier was, I realized that I do need to make it reality. So you've identified your why, but ask yourself, what has stopped you from doing this so far? Why can't you do it now? Well, to begin with, you need to start to identify the things that you are currently actively doing. What those things are that are stopping you from being that person. So, once you identify these, you're able to really see the big picture and make a plan to make active adjustments to your lifestyle. Then, we're going to look at the things that we are not in control of, but those things that are still influencing and directing your ability to make these changes. What does this look like? For me, well, for me to lose weight, become healthier, I had to figure out where I was going wrong. I was eating takeouts. I was going to servos pretty much daily. On top of that, I was snacking late into the night, eating foods that was from the freezer or out of a box. I avoided the healthy, I avoided whole food. I didn't take into account of the value of the food that I ate. So how do I make changes to that? Well, for starters, no more takeout. No more servo. I needed to start to cook with real food, real ingredients. Things that I could have at home, things that I could take with me to work. I had to make healthy, easy, light snacks that were available to satisfy cravings, to avoid me going, I want more and more, and push me beyond the point of no return. I needed to make the healthy food easy and accessible. To make this easier and to make this something that you are more likely to achieve, I truly do recommend writing these things down. Now, if you would like some advice on journaling, or in this instance, habit planning, check out one of my other videos. I'll put a link in the description. You might find it actually something that will really help you, especially if you're trying to make these sort of changes in your life. Alright, so what outside influences was I facing? Well, the amount of fast foods that were on my drive. The fact that I was cooking for myself, my wife, and 3 small children. I had limited time where I could actually cook. I had to travel to, from work, and other social events. Having just junk food around in the house. So, what could I do that would minimize this? Well, I started by packing healthy snacks in my car for when I was driving. I learned family-friendly, healthy meals that everyone could enjoy. Cooking extras and freezing them so I would have food for days where people weren't eating the same as me. And giving myself a small section that had just healthy snacks that I could eat. Okay, so we've established our intention, our reasons, and what needs to be done to make this happen. Now here's where we're going to put it into action. We're going to start by making our environment work for us and our new lifestyle. This doesn't mean spending money, it means just sorting things out. As I said, for me, I needed space for snacks. I needed to make it obvious to me that they're there. I had to make sure there was no junk food mixed in with it. Simply putting a fruit bowl out on a table or a bench, taking junk food and putting it behind a cabinet door or in a box separate from where my snacks were. I had to make good choices obvious and easy, while making bad choices hidden and hard. As people, we're inclined to make our lives as easy as possible, and therefore, we need to make the things that we want to do easy as possible. For example, having batch cooked meals in the fridge or freezer for the days when I needed to make more unhealthy food for the family, or at least not food that I was trying to eat. I did this so I could just easily reheat something rather than having to make an extra meal or 2, 3 different meals in a single night. Again, this made the good choice of eating a healthy meal so much easier for me. Now, every time I left for work or a long drive, I'd bring a snack with me in the car. That way, if I was to drive past a fast food or a servo and I'd have the craving to go in, I could just reach down, have that snack. This made just grabbing that one little snack easier, quicker than having to stop, go inside, find something, pay for it. All that extra work to get something where I had something right there next to me. I made my healthy snack my easy option. And to make going in and buying something just not worth it. By altering my environment, I've opened the way to making good choices much, much easier for me, while reducing the chance of making a bad choice. And this is something that can work for everyone, whether it be building something or breaking a bad habit. Okay, so we've established our intentions, our reasons, and we've made our environment work for us. The next stage is keeping track and evaluating our progress. This seems almost self-explanatory, but hear me out. The right method of tracking your progress is different for everyone and your individual goals. For weight loss, it can be simple checking the scale, or you might track how your clothes fit. For meditation, it could be the time you spend meditating, or it could be how your practice feels. Yeah? Say you're a procrastinator and you want to get more studying done. You could just tick off on a calendar that for every day you spend a minimum of 30 minutes actually working on a project that you need done. Personal example, I was eating healthier. I meal planned. I made sure that those meals were scheduled for certain days. I recorded the meal, the time, and I stuck to it. I ticked it off on my little calendar, making sure each meal was the right one for the day. I did the same thing when it came to snacking in the car. I had my snack. I would mark off if I've had the snack, if I didn't have the snack, or worse, if I went and picked up a bad snack instead. With all this information, I need to know not only how to record it, but when to look back and review. Again, reviewing can be different things for different goals and different people. You need to consider what it is you wish to achieve. Now, if you review your habits too soon, you don't get a clear picture of what's going on, and you might make changes that do nothing or even hurt your progress. But if you wait too long, then you can't make changes in time to actually make a difference in what you're trying to do. For instance, let's say you begin meditation. You want to reduce stress, so you're tracking the quality of your meditation. But you track the first 3 days. You look at the results and go, I'm not feeling any different. I guess I need to make change. I need to do something different. But you don't know what really you need to change. You haven't given yourself enough time to adjust and settle into a new habit. You can't really tell if it has or hasn't helped yet. On the other hand, let's say you wait 3 months. You look back and see little to no different. You feel like you've wasted months of your time and got nothing for it. You could have changed so many things that time, and you start making regrets on that. In this case, I'd actually review the habit in about 2 weeks. It gives you time to settle into it, start to feel things, see if there is a bit of a difference, and if you need to make change, whether it be your environment, your beginning, how you go into your meditation, you could do that. And if over time you see that you are finding progression and you don't need to make change, instead of 2 weeks review, you can move it on to a month, eventually into 3 months. And if you do make changes later on, you can always scale it back and you can start doing a review in every 2 weeks again to see how things are going with changes you make. This will help you get the best out of your goals. So far, we've established our intention, our reasons, our environment, recorded and reviewed. What could be left? Only the best part. Okay, I say best, but it can be the trickiest part, the reward. You need to make the reward of sticking to these goals matter. Make them meaningful. Make them helpful, not counterproductive. There's no point saying, I'll stop smoking for a month, then let myself have just one to celebrate. First, you need to take pride when you record your tracking. Each tick, each step forward over time is saying, I am achieving something. Have larger milestones along the way so you can get to one and feel accomplished. Perhaps you want to go down a couple clothing size, and I'll use my personal experience. First, I recognized when my clothes became loose. Then, I recognized when I needed a belt to keep my pants up. And then, after that, I was able to identify when I needed new clothes. Some things that actually fit how I was now looking. I got to feel each small winner along the way, those stages of making actual progress, and I was able to be proud of what I was achieving. Maybe that last stage where I needed to buy new clothes, I might have had a goal or a test outfit. And once I've reached that, I can purchase some new outfits, a true reward, a new set of clothes to match how I was now fitting. Now, if this was me, I would suggest having a set amount of money aside. Things that I would go, all right, I've made this goal. I can now spend $100, get some new clothes, some things that are truly going to fit where I'm at on my journey now. There we have it. Notable stages, helping us recognize our progress along the way. And A reward at a major milestone to reward our effort. Intention, reason, environment, record, review, reward. These steps, especially when written, clear, direct, and available, made easy and satisfying. Doing this, then you can achieve changes in your life that you wish to see. So, ask yourself these questions before you try to make actual change. Do you wish to make change? Or are you just saying you will? What does change actually look like? And how does one actually make change? Because until I was ready to ask and answer these questions, I wasn't ready. But now I know how I can actually make changes to my life and make them stick. If there is something you want to achieve, please comment down below and let me know if you'd like some advice. I'd love to help however I can. And if this video has helped you, give it a like and help YouTube know to share it with others. If you found this content something that you want to see more of, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And be on the lookout for more content like this and more on my journey of self-improvement. I share my advice and things I've learned from personal experience, both the good and the bad. Until next time, see yous.